All right, everybody. Without further ado, our next run is ready. So we've got CMO Joker and NBZ are going to be doing a any percent co-op run of Gunstar Heroes. So don't let me delay this any further. Whenever you're ready, go right ahead.
Hello and welcome. I'm CMO Joker. Might be the only one you can see, but I also have with me MBZ.
Hello.
And then to help us with commentary, we have Tempest Steve.
Hello, friends and fellow gamers. Tempest Mask 1000 here. This is a bit of a fun one. So, for those that don't know, recently I did Gunstar Heroes for No Holidays Allowed. So when I heard that Joker and NBZ submitted the co-op run, I was like, hey, if you need an extra guy, I'm totally down. And I'm looking forward to this.
We appreciate it here. We're going to get started real quickly. I know we want to catch up here a little bit on the schedule, so I'm just going to do a countdown here from 3. Oop, never mind. I forgot it's a very quick demo screen. Okay, now we will count down from 3 here. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
All right, so we're picking some different options there. We'll explain it here as we go. So we're gonna, so I say, George is letting us. We're gonna do some PB attempts here. We're not doing full runs. We don't need to do that. But this first stage we're picking is very RNG heavy. So we're gonna go until we get some good RNG here, or at least some decent, and then we will continue the run.
And for now, I'm gonna kill myself.
There's a very good reason for this, actually, and that's because the stage they've chosen is Black's Dice Palace, which is what normally folks in the community go for when doing an easy difficulty run. The reason for this is because it's the most RNG heavy, but in a co-op run, it also gets a little bit more interesting in that when you play with 2 players, well, what you're about to see is the dice maze itself, and in the single-player run, you normally just have to worry about one character rolling the die and getting a roll of 1 to 3. In a 2-player run, though, if a second player is present in the dice maze, the game requires both players to roll, alternating. So in the speedrun co-op, it's very much preferred that one player takes themselves out so that only one person will have to get this as hopefully as optimal as possible.
Yeah, so I'll be doing this entire next part without any hands on the controller.
Well,
yeah,
we might not
definitely
be
a good
restarting
time for a stretch break for player 2, basically.
Yep. Very good roll so far.
This is what we want to see.
Yeah, this is definitely good stuff so far. I gotta quickly point out that Melon Bread there is a bit of a treasure classic boss in there. You see them make a reappearance in the later game, Alien Soldier, so... Oh, this is my favorite stage. Let's go. This is something I actually wanted to show off in my single-player run, but yeah, this stage is a rush and go, and let's see if Joker gets the clip. Not quite. Okay, just doing it once. Yeah. I try to go for it maybe twice, just because it's always a fun little thing to show. Yep, that right there. Nice. So we got it before the warp. What you just saw right there is if your character is positioned just right and you get the jump straight through, for some reason they can just clip through it. It's just the way the solid detection is. My favorite way of showcasing that is if I happen to have Flame Chaser and then I get to show that when my character is nudged right against the wall, I can just fire the thing and it's already to the other side of the wall and I can just fully control it. It's silly. That right there was a Phantom, by the way. You're going to see a few more of these throughout the game. They are essentially beefier enemies. You actually saw a black-colored one before the entrance to the Dice Maze itself opened up. And there's a good reason for that. In the stage selection process, for 3 out of 4 stages, each general of the Empire gets their own specially colored Phantom, but in the case of that green one, well, that's going to be Green's Phantom, and it's only going to appear in that level, and only if you land on that portion of the Dice Maze.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the weapon I want. You see at the top there, I have 2 different icons. There are 4 different types of weapons, and you can combine 2 of them. We can explain them here a little, especially if we're going to be resetting. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the one I want, so I'm making do with what I have. And that's
You're still
that's
in pretty
unfortunately
good
a rough fight.
dice pace, if you ask me. Like, I'd say
Oh, yeah.
only reset if you hit the
This
way
is the
back.
bad one. Oh yeah, same. I agree. But this is the unfortunately the bad one with this. Oh shoot.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be very careful too, because if the remaining character dies within the dice maze, you have to do the entire thing all over again. So that would also be a reset point. But if you play with 2 players and one player dies,
I need to pick
it
him up.
gets
Oh,
you
that's bad.
booted back to, whoa, that's going to be nasty. So that's going to really make the black fight dicey if you manage to avoid it. But hopefully there is an opportunity for them to land on an item room.
give me a 1.
They
Give me
just
a 1.
need a 1.
Ah, okay. All right, that's okay. Let's do this good.
Okay, yeah, just gotta do it right. Hopefully.
I mean, this is still a good time. As long as I don't die, this is, I don't think we need to reset, and we'll just be ahead of schedule.
I'm counting on a 50-50 because all things considered, it is still possible to get hit by black even if unintentionally. Also, shout out to the cow in the background.
Yep, always shout out to the cow. Also, you're going to see the most overpowered attack here. We just throw each other.
There it is. What you just
So on
saw right
easy
there
mode.
was that, yeah, what you just saw right there was NBZ rejoined, but in doing so, they take half of the health from player 1 to get back in, which is kind of a thing you might see in some other co-op related games. This is definitely not the only one of its kind to do that. And that's a perfect placement right there from Joker. It's similar to a Mega Man game. I like to equate it to the weapon get animation, where if you stand on the right position, the moment the gem drops on the floor after you bop black for trying to trick you with the fake one,
mine. Oh,
you just
baby.
automatically grab it without having to move close to it, and it's definitely one of the time optimizations you want to go for in this level.
There we go.
But now
All right, we got our
have
weapons.
finally exited Black's stage, and they are now moving into Pink's level. This is the most beginner-friendly of the 4 generals, for sure. Part of it is that it's just a very simple stage to go through and give you a good idea of how the overall format behind Gunstar Heroes as a game will be, which I'll quickly go on into as they eventually make to... Yep, there's the Pink Phantom. There's the other Pink Phantom. They're already gone. Let's just talk quickly about melee attacks, because in easy difficulty, those are key. They are at their most broken as compared to even the best of guns that you could possibly have in the
Oops.
game. And, okay, that can happen too, yeah. So we're coming up to Bravo Man. This is personally one of my favorite songs within the game, just because the tone is just kind of a bop in a very low-key way. But also, Bravo Man is just a funny-looking boss, but looks can be
It's a cool
deceiving
little
if you...
3D looking tech there.
Absolutely. Like, we could totally talk about how Treasure was a master of just making things pop on the Genesis. They really knew what they were doing. And this is their first released game, by the way.
I was gonna say, it is actually not. It's their it's the first one they wanted to make, but Sega made them make a little licensed game called, I don't remember which one. It's a McDonald's game.
McDonald's.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact name.
Treasure Hunt, I believe it was called.
Yeah, it's the one where you Ronald McDonald and you can use a scarf to attack.
Oh gosh.
I thought that McDonald's was programmed first, but
they
Gunstar
probably
was released
worked on this one.
Yeah.
Because they knew they wanted to make a game like this. The people at Treasure were our ex-Konami devs, and I don't know if the people that made this exactly made Contra, but I'm just gonna assume there's some crossover there.
You would have to imagine there would be,
Yeah.
yeah. It's funny, too, because later on, Treasure would be asked by Konami, hey, do you think you could help us make Gradius 5? And yeah, they did. It's really cool. It uses the same engine, if I'm not mistaken, as Sin and Punishment Star Successor, which, shout out to Linkameister, that's one of the games he runs. Although
All right, now we're on a different
done it in a
stage
while.
here. It's kind of an auto-scroller for the most part.
Yeah.
Couple spots where you have to take out some enemies, but I'm just gonna chill here. So I guess this is where we can go over some weapons here. So in the beginning, we started. There are 4 different weapon types. We both chose the flame weapon because it is the strongest. And it's the main weapon here, just like a little flamethrower. But the other options here, we have the blue one's laser or lightning? I think it's laser. The green
Lightning.
one that I have, lightning, okay. The green one I have, they call Chaser, and then the one that we don't have, it's an orange one that's called Force. That is just like a shooty weapon.
Yeah,
kind of
rapid
just a
fire,
standard
basically.
Yep. So what I have here, the Fire plus Chaser here means I get to control this. I just get to move this as I want. And the weapon that I always call, I think everyone calls the lightsaber there, the laser plus the flamethrower, is one of the strongest weapons. And the good thing about both of our combinations, which will be useful a little later, is they both take out projectiles, so it's a little bit of defense against that.
Yeah, there are a total of 16 elemental combinations that you can do throughout the game, including double combinations of the same element. So if you're playing this casually, by all means, feel free to mix and match. You just might find something you might prefer over what speedrunners prefer, which...
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how there have been some experimentations going on. For instance, there was a GDQ run for a co-op Gunstar Heroes at normal difficulty between Bag the T and Tap the TOJ, and they preferred to use Lightsaber and I believe it was Chaser Lightning, which is a really nice combination for just tracking down enemies, because the way that operates, that was my personal go-to. Like when I learned the speed run. Yeah, before I learned the speed run and I played casually on my Genesis Mini, I just thought, this is amazing. How could there be anything better than this? Turns out there was, but well,
yeah, and the lightning plus chaser is just it's a lock, and it's kind of like what mine's doing, except it just does it automatically. Like you can't control it. It's just an attack that just automatically goes from enemy to enemy. But the reason why we don't use it is it is a fairly weak weapon, so it's not good against bosses for speedrun purposes.
Granted, I do believe Taps and Bag are likely the current world record holders for normal co-op, so they have been able to make some magic happen. I guess it's just a matter of preference and what you know how to use effectively, especially in bosses like Seven Force here, which we'll go over very quickly. In easy difficulty, despite the name Seven Force, these two will only be fighting 3 of the forms, and every time it always starts out with Soldier Force here. But from now, we're going to get into the random stuff. Okay, so we're looking at Tail Force, if I'm not mistaken. This is one of the okay phases to fight, but it can be a little annoying on principle of the dodging game, and also just, as you can see right there,
Z's getting bounced there.
Just getting destroyed.
Juggled. And lastly, we have the kitty is not at all a good one. Tiger Force is probably one of the worst ones you can get. But in terms of co-op, it's not as bad because, as you can see, right now Z is mainly being targeted by the cannon attack, and Tiger Force is usually just trying to pay attention to at least one target because most of its attacks are all about locking on, so that's not the worst thing to take on in co-op, I imagine. The other forms were Blaster, Urchin, Eagle, and Crab, and I would argue that Urchin is what you want to go for on the second, because every even number of forms you face, it's always going to be the vertical section, so...
Hey, I didn't jump right off this time.
Yeah,
that was a
practicing
very funny practice moment.
There was some weird stuff that happened while we were practicing earlier. No, don't mess with it. All right, so yeah, a little bit of again auto scroller in the beginning here. You notice, so yeah, these are relatively short stages. Kind of seems like Treasure's bread and butter, where it seems like they end up really liking just kind of they focus on bosses, because in the late Genesis game, Alien Storm is almost this kind of like this game, but it's almost all bosses.
Alien Soldier, though, is a much more difficult game. No, I wasn't trying. I promise, I wasn't trying to correct
thank
you.
No. Alien Storm is a different Genesis game. It's a first-party Genesis game.
Wait, that exists?
Yeah, that's a real game.
Actually, sounds kind of cool. I might have to look into that. Is it? I assume it's not like a licensed game, is it?
No. It's just a yeah. It's just a Genesis. I think it was originally a Genesis arcade game that they then ported to the Genesis.
Ah, okay. Because as somebody that's been playing enough at Aliens Fireteam Elite, I could have assumed otherwise.
Oh yeah. Oops. There's little
Yeah,
cool
that
little
can
bombs you can throw 'em back.
that can happen. So we haven't talked about throwing things, which, yeah, the co-op run thrives on the tag team throwing as its main form of damage because it goes even faster than the general kicks, or I guess in the free shot character's case, body slams that you can do as your melee attacks. And yeah, just prioritizing that kind of teamwork is going to really shred through things and just make this super duper fast. But let's let them
Where
focus.
did I
Oh my
go?
goodness. That's never happened before, huh?
Yep, no, never had that.
See, now you guys had a moment of that as well. So did I in my run. There we go.
It's usually Z falling off here. This is the first time it was me.
I blame myself for being in the call because every time I seem to be in an event, some kind of never before happened moment just occurs.
All right.
Okay, so
Coming up
this
to the end
guy
here.
is Smash Daisaku, but the community likes to call him M. Bison because there's a clear-cut visual inspiration going on here. This is not going to be the last time we see this guy, but this is sort of an introduction to his flying boss fight, if you will. One trick that you can do is, once he takes off, you can just throw him upward. That's something you might see in, say, an expert run, something like that. And, yeah, it's just immediately going into the orange boss fight, which you do not want to be too close to this guy. He will toss you if you do, and it can hurt quite a bit. But because there are two players, they can take that risk a bit more easily. And you're also noticing that Joker was hanging below the plane. The idea was to use the little flip kick, which, yes, going up from a platform you're hanging from does count as an offensive move. And it trips up orange so that the player can throw him much easier like that. And I do not assume we're going to get that glitch.
No,
We do
no.
not.
If you go too fast before the airplane, yeah, you can cause a little glitch here where the game messes up and kind of freezes up for a minute or two.
That's a guaranteed reset if it were to happen, but at this point,
Yep.
we're just go.
That's why you see we do the jump kicks because it is faster. But at the before we got on the airplane there, that's why I was just running because I didn't want to cause any issues there with the game.
Yeah, as your main form of movement, that is consistently faster. But if you hit maybe one too many enemies, it will slow down the game because you do notice that when either player melee attacks a character, there's just a bit of slowdown. It's not the worst kind of thing going, but it can potentially add up. So now we've got a bit of a phantom gauntlet coming up, and you just saw Z explode that explosive barrel to get quite a bit of damage going on that pink phantom and quickly knock them out.
Still good.
If lucky though, we will. Ooh, yes. So that strat right there. We were gonna try and see if our duo could manage the same thing, except by tossing down these bomber platforms.
Yeah, we can try it again. We have one more try here.
Now that crate stack is a lot more manageable on a co-op run just by throwing the teammate in there. If it's a single player, you have to do a slide kick until one of the boxes breaks, and then it just clips you forward, but you also take a little bit of damage.
But yeah,
and
with
HP conservation is super important in this level because there are no checkpoints. If both of them die, and they have to start from whatever checkpoint it was, it's just going to be the beginning of the level all the time.
You
and
go. I'm staying back.
it is never fun. Probably one of the most notable potential gatekeepers, especially if you're starting things off, because if you do not mind your surroundings, you will take a lot of hits, and especially with the boss fight coming up, it can be really bad. But it also gets worse if you happen to get juggled from one soldier to the next, because you saw Joker getting tossed, and
lose 40 health every
it could
time.
have the player could have gotten thrown into yet another soldier, which just wastes more time, and Smash, wait, what are you doing? Come on, buddy. No, wait, no! Oh, he was having the time of his life. I demand a refund to this show that I paid for. But yep, so now Joker and Z are going to have to fight Smash once more, and we got 2 phases this time. As you're seeing, it's a repeat of the flight section from Orange's stage, and if he goes into the charging move, which we equate to sort of M. Bison's Psycho Crusher, because again, this guy is clearly inspired by Bison in quite a few ways. Yeah, that's the best time to get a lot of damage on him. But now, as you just saw right there, Z and Joker got tossed. This is what makes Daisaku at his worst. The single-player strat is to try and bait him into going into the air, because you see him do a Gomu Gomu no whatever attack, like as if Daisaku ate the gum fruit from One Piece. But
I also gotta be careful.
Getting too close to him will get you tossed, and that will do 20 a pop. So these two are now at much dangerous health. This is gonna be tight. Ooh,
okay, there we go.
Nicely done.
Jeezy crazy.
That was close.
So I was trying to get him in a loop with that, where I jump and he jumps, and then I kick him, and then I just repeat that. But I just didn't have the timing down. And once you get so low of health, you gotta alternate so you don't die and have to start over.
I think this is probably a good time for me to explain the lore if you two would like to take a quick stretch break with the cutscene playing out.
Yep.
Okay, so the game actually has 2 different types of lore. If you're familiar with the sequel game that Treasure would release for the Game Boy Advance, Gunstar Superheroes, it's a continuation of the lore from the Japanese version of the game, where the an ancient evil weapon by the name of Gold and Silver was crafted and unleashed upon the Earth, and in the wake of its apocalyptic destruction, wiped out a lot of the population. But the Gunstar heroes, red, blue, green, and yellow, formed together and used the power of these mystical gems to have these weapons to then defeat it and then seal it in the moon. After the fight, they go into cryogenical sleep, but then General or Emperor Grey, whichever title it is, suddenly has the plan to reawaken Gold and Silver to form an ideal world for him to rule. Dr. Brown, the professor guy, is the one that ends up finding the Gunstars, reawakens them, defects from the Empire, and aids as their support, with Yellow also being on the backup. But Green, the reason why he was turned against us was because apparently he forgot all of his memories upon being reawakened, and so he was being manipulated by the Empire to work for them, and, well, yeah, as you saw, we had to rescue Yellow, and in exchange, we had to give Gray all the gems in order to do that hostage exchange, which now we are in a spaceship section, and, well, yeah, you do not want to see a death here as well, because while there is a checkpoint, it's not until the spaceship section is completely over. So knowing how to manage your health, despite having 200 per player, is very vital. You're also noticing that Z is controlling a secondary gun, which still maintains the combination of ammo that player 2 had up till now. And despite that, Joker can still use the Flame Chaser combination, so that Timer-On appearance that we saw was actually played more as a survival game, where it's optional. You do not have to engage in such minigame, which is why you saw the two of them defeat it in like 66 seconds, which is much faster than what a single player can pull off. And yet I am informed that, well, the community has what we call the mythical 100% run, which not only has a runner encounter all of the Dice Palace stages on the board, but also you have to survive Timer-On for a full hour, which in doing so gives a secret developer message to pop up. And I had no idea about it until my commentary crew, shout out to Kranoon, Xantamun, and Shaddix, had told me about it during my run, so now that I know about it, I'm almost tempted to give that a shot, but yeah, no, I can see why nobody would want to have to go that far.
Not during the speedrun, especially.
Especially that, yeah. But there is a interesting little ROM hack of the game, which we have a separate category called the one roll. And as the name implies, the dice maze has nothing but one rolls, so that you just go through the entire board. While that is generally longer to do, at least it removes one of the most notorious forms of its RNG, so it is something that also makes for a nice little practice tool, as Shattuck said, which if you want to just tackle all of the Dice Maze bosses and challenges it has to offer, I mean, there you go. But there is also a pretty cool extra mode involved if you happen to buy the Nintendo 3DS Classics port of Gunstar Heroes, which was developed by M2, a notable partner that has collaborated with Konami in a bunch of stuff, such as the earlier seen Contra Rebirth that, once again, Linka ran this morning, actually. And in that one, you have a few extra little settings that you can do, including Gunslinger mode, which we have a separate category for that. And it is the coolest thing around, where you can
I think I'm the only one with a
between...
run on that leaderboard, though.
You do run that? Okay.
Yes, I did it once. I was gonna say real quick. I'm sorry. I'll let you explain. It's on the 3DS. Playing this game, doing this movement on a 3DS is miserable. So that's why I've only done it once.
I agree. I mean, I'm used
Sorry,
to
go
it.
ahead.
No, you're good. I can relate to that as somebody that has practiced constantly during my work breaks with taking my 3DS with me and just trying to just get through it, even if it's just standard stuff. But yeah, Gunslinger mode, you notice that Z and Joker had to select free shot or fixed shot, which, as the name implies, the fixed shot character can only move when they're not shooting. If they're in the middle of shooting, they stay in place the whole time through, but it allows for a lot more of an easier time with stationary weaponry and directional firing. Free movement, though, can still fire and shoot at the same time, so I guess the best comparison being Mega Man and Bass, where the two characters have that sort of thing going as well. And in Gunslinger mode, you can swap between free shot and fixed shot on the fly, and you can change your elements on the fly with the shoulder buttons. It is the coolest thing, and yeah, I definitely want to run that.
It's definitely fun. And I got real quick shout out or someone let George know, because we didn't have to reset. We're about 10 minutes out, because I know we have an hour estimate. So just wanted to let George know we're kind of almost done. If you for the next run.
Yeah, there's only one stage after this one, so yeah, we are well within the late game. So now we got one more fight against Seven Force, and the moveset comprises of all the forms that we could have seen in the earlier level proper, but Eagle Force, as you're seeing right there, is the worst to get, because if you try to shoot while it's present, it will lag the game. So it doesn't seem as bad with two players going in, because at the very least you can get a lot more damage than a single player normally would. Urchin Force, though, like with the regular Seven Force fight, is the preferred one to get in general, because you see it's stationary and it just, yeah. Also, once you defeat Seven Force, you want it to be as close to the left side of the screen as possible,
left or bottom, yeah,
so that it will get off the screen faster.
All right.
Good job so far, though. This is really well done.
Yeah, I should say this is only our first couple of. Yeah, we've only done a few runs. I've ran this game before in BZ. Oh, flashing light warning. Very sorry. Coming up here.
Oh
this whole boss fight.
This is definitely the flashing light
warning. There's going to be a few. If you have a flashing light,
but it's
yeah. I will let you know when we don't have to worry about flashing lights anymore. I knew I was going to forget. I'm trying not to.
I feel that.
Only for a minute here. All right, 1, 2. We gotta wait for the. I think they call this the dragon to come up and.
Yeah, unit of the dragon, and then unit of the hammer before it. And if you're facing, or rather, if you're at this part in the normal or higher difficulties before the unit of the runner, you get an extra little phase where these drones suddenly come out of the core and just start to explode on the screen. And yeah, we didn't even get to see it use like a single attack either.
Anything, yeah.
Oh,
That's the power
I gotta
of the
make
throw.
a quick shout out to Vector Man because Shaddix always likes to call this guy Vector Man.
Yeah.
Z, how you feeling?
All right, and that's flashing light warning over.
I'm feeling great.
That's good. You Joker?
Oh, yeah, it's great. We're doing good.
I did it again, Joker.
Yep.
It's all right. I made it back in time. We're good.
Try to throw at all the enemies here.
These two guys, by the way, their respective names are Kotaro and Kane, the henchmen of Pink. This is the only time we're going to see one of them, though, because he's deciding, you know what, I'm just going to screw you, I'm going to take these guys on myself. But he underestimated the power of two because normally he's probably expecting just one. And you know what? They're the Gunstar heroes. They take no for an answer.
I think I just Mario.
Taking it slow
stomped
here. I'm
you.
losing a lot of health. All right.
Oh, man.
Jump. Oh, I was too slow. That's it. We'll be fine.
Yeah, that can trip you up a little.
Only one fight I'm worried about, and we'll see how it goes.
Pink Lobster, though, can
come
be a
back.
bit annoying on account of one particular attack, that being the bubble move, where if you get caught in a single bubble, you have to try and mash out as soon as possible, not just to regain mobility, but also just if you hit the top and then hit the floor, that's how you can take damage. But
I can't throw,
arguably
into it.
Yeah. Oh, you can't throw into it? That's even
No,
worse.
I think it covered. Yeah. Back up a little.
Okay, I'm gonna give them
We're gonna try
serious
this.
time.
Nope, I missed. Okay, keep hitting. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, let him back here. It's okay. A little more. Oh,
I didn't mean to throw you.
we're
but
trying to get into a loop here. I'm not doing too well at it. Okay, that's not.
That's a double.
All right, let's get back here. I'm just trying to get to the point where I can throw him.
Ah, come on.
If he just keeps jumping, I'm fine with it. Yeah, just hit him while you can.
Double.
There was a strategy we had in the beginning, but I messed up, and now we're just winging it here.
That's a triple.
Throw whenever we can. Oh, we can't throw during this one.
In case you're wondering
Good
how
enough.
these two are playing co-op right now, by the way, they are using RetroArch, which the Gunstar community is very, very lenient on emulator uses. Wait, what? You could toss that box, and that was a
I
very
did not know
funny
that
little
either.
effect right there.
Did not know that
Wow.
either.
That's another that's never happened before moment, huh? 2 and 1.
Yep.
It makes sense for a co-op. And yeah, that was Black Fly. There is a manipulation that you can do as a single player run, but on co-op, it is just a lot less dangerous to, and a lot less hassle to worry about. So
time save.
you've certainly avenged my inability to make Black go fast. And okay, so stun lock complete. There is a chance that Green can try to break out of that, but 9 times out of 10, if you keep Green constantly damaged like that, then this is going to be the result. And yeah, you can only do this on the easy difficulty though, because in normal and higher, Green has an attack where he can just force shield any projectiles coming your way.
All right. Coming
We
on
are
the
now
last
onto the
boss
final
here,
boss.
Which, despite seeing this guy, this is General Gray here. Yeah, we never fight him.
He's basically the Bobbity of Gunstar heroes. He acts all high and mighty, and he's the bad guy that's leading the operation. But none of the important characters ever get to actually like take him down. So yeah, he's just a clown.
I'm gonna take force
Fire.
this time.
Okay, that's fine.
So Gold and Silver is going to be an interesting fight in that it's got the highest health at 9,999, and hitting Gold and Silver itself is not going to cause damage, but rather Z and Joker have to attack the gems. Now, time will not be on the final hit. However, it will be once the screen fades to black following a full-on little animation after the final stage clear text rolls away. So
right, back
I'll
to the
be sure.
center.
One of us will be sure to count it in. So,
This is awkward.
but yeah, I think I got the timer in this case.
All right.
Nice.
Time's on Fade the Black. I'll call time. And that was Gunstar Heroes. We just wait
Very
here for a few
solid game.
seconds. That's Gold and Silver. That's another one. I forget what, but he does pop up in some non-Gunstar Hero Treasure games as well.
George, that's not time yet. George, that's not time yet.
Time. Oh.
That would have been time.
Well, I have the count of, I'm going to have to retime that. We're going to have to see. It might be 34 minutes exactly, or maybe it was under. It probably was 34 minutes exactly, though. But hey, that's a new PB for us. So I'm
yeah, we got the PB.
We'll take it.
Our previous was 36, basically. Yeah, that was 2 minutes save for us. So that was really good. Very happy with it.
Yeah, very great run. Joker, do you want to shout yourself out?
I got nothing right now. I mean, Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, so again, I'm CMO Joker. If you want to see some other speedruns I've done, mainly you find youtube.com/@CMO Joker. I don't know if you need the ad or not. I just know that's the handle now. YouTube's weird. They always change stuff. But speedrun mainly Bomberman games, but also other games that I just really love, including Gunstar Heroes.
Yep, and I am NBZ. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok at NBZ. And I do mostly casual playthroughs on my Twitch now and speedruns on YouTube. So, in those two places.
And my name is Tempest Mask 1000. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube under the same name. And it's Tempest Steve for Twitter and Tempest Mask on Blue Sky. I do not stream very frequently, but whenever I do, you're probably going to see me do a lot of platformer or action games, speedruns of generally various kinds. And yeah, it's some good stuff. And I would also like to make a shout out to the Dice Palace support group, which is the official speedrun server of Gunstar Heroes. The community is always welcome to some new runners, so if you'd like to pick this up for yourself, please feel free to join our Discord, and you can find the link on any of the Gunstar Heroes leaderboard pages on speedrun.com. And yeah, like I said, this game, we are perfectly fine with just about any kind of, like, most emulators, and just as long as, like, there's no major disadvantage per se. There's also using things like the Genesis Mini. You can get this game very cheap on Steam. There used to be a mobile port, but I think Sega recently took that down for some reason. And but that was totally free. But this is a fun game, and we highly encourage you to give this a shot. Z,
any
Joker,
Sega compilation has this game.
There, go you first.
No, sorry. I'd say, yeah, any Sega compilation has this game. Can currently legally play it, we'll say, on Steam for $1, or this Nintendo Switch expansion online, whatever that's called, is on there.
Yeah, the expansion pack.
Play this game, it's lovely.
Yeah, that's one way you can do co-op, but yeah. Z, Joker, thank you for having me along for the ride. I very much appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for joining.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's going to do it for all of us at this point. So we'll throw it on back to George and the crew. Thanks for having us, and until we next meet, see ya.